cameras. The iPhone 10 both have 12 megapixel sensors on all the cameras. One isn't, way higher in megapixel count or anything. Both can do 4K at 60 though, which is pretty important to note. And I find that very weird because we still haven't gotten any higher on the iPhone 12 even though we have 8K capability now. But we do have an ultra-wide sensor on the iPhone 12 where we have a telephoto lens on the iPhone 10. When you look at the UIs of both, they're pretty much the exact same thing. We have portrait mode on both and really everything like that. And even just from this, baseline thing I was going to show you right here, like they look kind of the same if I'm being honest. Like one doesn't look way better. Again, the ultra-wide sensor I think I would rather have than the iPhone 10's telephoto lens, but I think the biggest difference is the front cameras. So with the iPhone 10, I think it's a really good camera. I never had any problems with it. I used this phone as a daily phone for a long time and I had a good time with it. I didn't really have any issues with it. And you can do 4K at 60, but most people only do 1080p at 30. And for a day-to-day phone, great camera, I think, for the most part. Even in 2020, it still holds up quite well. It's not perfect, it can't do 8K, it can't do anything crazy, but the front camera of this, I think, is the bigger problem. It has a 7 megapixel front-facing camera. It can only do 1080p at 30 compared to the iPhone 12's 12 megapixel sensor that can do 4K at 60. The quality on the front camera of the iPhone 12 is better than the quality of the front camera on the iPhone 10, which is very important to note. Now this phone for the most part I think is perfectly fine too, and it's better than the iPhone 10 as expected, but it's still not perfect, no 8K on the back camera, but with that ultra wide sensor that is something that I really do like, and I'd rather have an ultra wide than a telephoto lens, so that automatically adds points to the iPhone 12. But on top of that, the front camera of this phone is so much better. You have a 12 megapixel front facing camera here versus the 7 megapixel and only 1080p at 30, but you have 4K at 60 on this phone, which makes this phone in my opinion just that much better overall. So that's a pretty huge asset for it for sure. So when it comes down to the cameras, the iPhone 12 is definitely better than the iPhone 10. Now,